The two beams of lead nuclei are travelling around the ring in opposite directions. They're meeting deep underneath this control room at the detector. You can see live feed pictures of the detector up on that screen. Now, underneath us, they're travelling at a speed of 99.9998% the speed of light. That means they're covering the full 27-kilometre circumference of the ring more than 11,000 times per second. When the beams reach maximum energy, and we can see up there it says iron physics stable beams, that means they can be crossed, just like in Ghostbusters. At that point, a tiny fraction of the lead nuclei will collide and create a super hot, super dense fireball with a temperature 400,000 times hotter than the center of the sun and a density that will be equivalent to squeezing the whole of Mont Blanc down to the size of a grape. That looks like a fantastic image there. So can you tell me what we're seeing?
It's amazing, actually, isn't it? It's literally tens of thousands of particles and antimatter particles flying out. That's kind of aftermath of this explosion.
Right.
So the coloured particle trails here aren't the quarks and gluons themselves, but evidence of the quark-gluon plasma created by the collision.
We have to infer its properties from looking at the debris that flies out. It's a bit like working out how an aircraft works by looking at the debris of a plane crash. That's what we see.
What I find amazing is what we're doing here is trying to recreate that moment in the early universe where the quarks and gluons were all free to float around because the energy was so high, and then it cooled and they stacked together. You're doing the opposite. We're starting with normal matter, smashing it together, and going back to that unconfined state, that plasma.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of Alice as a time machine. We're actually winding back the clock. And this is the only way that we can study the properties of free quarks, because these quarks have been imprisoned inside particles like protons and neutrons for 13.8 billion years.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? Finally, after 13.8 billion years, you can set these quarks free, even if it's for a fraction of a second.
Yes.
While we don't yet know how matter sprang into existence, studying these collisions allows us to make the first tentative steps towards that discovery.
What we've just witnessed is the earliest stages of the universe that anyone, anywhere, has been able to observe. It's the closest we've got to the moment of the Big Bang. And let's face it, it's not bad. 1/1,000,000th of a second after the Big Bang itself.
Even going this far back in time still leaves physics with unanswered questions.
Beyond this is where some of the deeper mysteries of the universe are hiding. How the four fundamental forces that bind matter together, gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear forces, are connected to each other. How the particles that make up matter itself condensed out of a fog of energy. How mass is generated from the force that binds protons and neutrons together. And how the universe itself underwent a super fast expansion in 1 billion of a second to create the structure of the cosmos.
At the moment, we have no way of observing any of these phenomena. This is the realm of abstract theory and speculation.
If we're ever going to replicate this early stage of the universe's evolution, we're going to need to create considerably higher energies. Frankly, we're going to need to build a bigger collider. And that's a problem. And it's not just one of expense, although it would be phenomenally expensive.
No, it's more one of finding the room to build it.
Remember when I said the energy is related to the circumference of the accelerator? Well, the LHC down below me has a circumference of 27 kilometers. It runs beneath the Jura Mountains and straddles both France and Switzerland. In order to look back and observe the universe at this earliest stage, well, we need to build an accelerator with a circumference larger than the orbit of Pluto.